If you could pick up that and...
This wallet belonged to a fallen German soldier of the First World War, and it's the first time John Burder has looked inside it. It's an emotional moment. Photos of comrades this man probably fought and died with, and a sweetheart he almost certainly never saw again. This was taken as a war souvenir by John's father, Captain Claude Burder, probably after overrunning this man's trench, and was among a large cache of war memorabilia including papers, photos and buckles cut from German belts, which he's still sorting through. And the most precious discovery of all, his father's handwritten memoirs of 4 years in the trenches under almost constant fire.
He was there, he knew what it was all about. And he describes exactly what it's like living in mud with rats and filth, being under constant fire. He was an amazing man.
Captain Burder was an ordained priest, a man of peace, but who was moved by the call to war and joined up as a private soldier in 1914. He saw action at Ypres and on the Somme and was finally wounded by a shell in 1918 and awarded the Military Cross. Coming home, he wrote his memoirs down, but then locked them away and never spoke about the war again to his family. When he died in 1968, John inherited his trunks and boxes, along with many other things, and put them in his garage in Bournemouth, but for decades never got round to opening them. When he did, it was a revelation about the father he thought he knew and what he'd gone through.
I didn't know what was in the boxes. There were bits of grandfather clocks and old boxes and everything the family had dumped there for generations. Dad would never discuss the war. I think people who were involved in it never would. And having read what he went through, I can understand why. So it gave me a vivid and rather horrifying picture of the experiences the father, I realised then I never really knew, had had to survive.
John now has an overriding urge to share his father's experiences with others, especially the younger generation. He paid for the memoirs to be published in hardback and's now sold his house and downsized to pay for a paperback run of up to 10,000 copies of the memoirs he's titled Hell on Earth.
I think it's my duty, as long as I'm alive, to make sure that their sacrifice and the futility of what they were expected to do is widely made known. I'd love to see him again. I don't know quite what I'd say because it's still strangely very emotional. But I think I'd say, Dad, I may not have been a son you wanted, but at least I got your book published. And you probably want to know why I didn't do it sooner.
Martin Dowse, ITV News.
Later on in life, tried to type out a developed version of his story, and I had that to guide me, so I wasn't completely in the dark.
Yeah.
But it's pretty horrifying.